Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the Metanet channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. Now of course in this video, we're going through the Orphist support that Orphist received for DBT03. Orphist for DBT03 does not really receive like any game-breaking support, just that Orphist does receive some of the support that makes most of his card pieces a little bit more efficient. Let's get started. First card we have Cardinal Fang Cinetia. Auto Rigor Circle. When your Vanguard is attacked, retire this unit. Choose one of your Vanguards, and if your world is Dark Knight, it gets 5k power until the end of that battle. If it is Abyssal Dark Knight instead of Dark Knight, it gets 10k power until the end of that battle. Now this is basically a defensive unit where if your Vanguard is attacked by your opponent, he is able to sacrifice himself to give that 10k power to your Vanguard. I mean 10k if you are in Abyssal Dark Knight, that is. But of course it's only until the end of that battle. It would be really broken if it's until the end of the turn. But then it's still a really nice defensive unit. However, the problem here is that he needs to survive until your opponent's battle phase. Of course, he only works if your Vanguard is being attacked. So he's not really like the best support out of all of the supports that Orphist actually received, but he is still a nice 1 or 2 tag in just for that 10k power. I mean, if you're able to reuse like this grade 1 as a booster to guard, it's still a 5k guard, but then he does not really do much in terms of offensive because opponent's power is most likely going to be really big to the point where 5k or 10k does not really matter as much. But then of course, option is always an option. Next up we have Cardinal Draco. Abstrim. Okay, continuous Rigor Circle. If your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, this unit can attack your opponent's back row. Now this is basically your back row sniper, where you can basically snipe whatever is in your opponent's back row. Most of the time it's going to be either like, for example, a proto belt for Bruce. So this card, while amazing, I don't really think this card could make much of an impact in the meta game at the moment, because you actually have another card that basically does the same thing but better, I would say, and that card being Jabaltil. Essentially both of these does the same thing, just the only difference is that Abstrim is a grade 2 and Jabaltil is a grade 3, but the main selling point here is that Jabaltil attacks a full column, so you don't have to choose either the front row or the back row, you just attack everything, which is nice. I would say this card is basically just like a very niche usage, because if you really want to run a card like this, why would you not run Jabaltil over this guy? They're basically doing the same thing, and one is better than the other. Next up we have Cardinal Draco's Stiljurge. Auto Rigor Circle. When this unit is boosted by a Shadow Army token, cost Soul Blast 1 and Counter Charge 1. Well, looks like Orphist just keeps getting CC. The main difference for this card, as opposed to other CC that Brandt Gate has, is that he does not require you to sacrifice a Shadow Army token, which is actually a good thing once we get to the R support. By removing the need to retire a Shadow Army token to Soul Blast is actually not a bad idea, and since you do get cards that Soul Charge for Brandt Gate, the Soul Blast is essentially non-existent. This card of course will go really well with Destierde, which is the R, which we will talk about later. This unit is possibly going to be a 28k or 38k attacker. Of course, if you factor in the Persona Ride, that is. This card is really not bad, just that the only requirement here is to be boosted by a Shadow Army token. I mean, that's not really a requirement since probably you're gonna have Shadow Army token anyway. Next up we have Cardinal Fang Reyogia. Auto, when this unit is placed on Rigor Circle, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 world card from among them, reveal it and put it into your hand, and put the rest to the bottom of your deck in any order. Second skill, active Rigor Circle. If your Vanguard is Cardinal Deus Orphist, cost Soul Blast 1 and retire this unit and call a Shadow Army token to the Rigor Circle. This card is basically your consistency card for Abyssal War Order, since whenever he's placed, you're able to check top 3 to put a world card into your hand. something really interesting to keep in mind is that this card is basically a combination of these two cards. This card does help with some damage denying strategies because of course we all know that Orphist needs 2 counterblast to summon 3 Shadow Army tokens. So most likely Orphist is gonna get damage deny really hard, and this card does helps a little bit by exchanging himself for another Shadow Army token. Hey, it's really good. Next up, we have the World Order card, a new one, Beyond the Perpetual Time. You're gonna have to pay 2 Soul Blasts in order to play this card, and at this point, you already see the alarming rate that Orphist is starting to use the soul. So you might need to consider running a few cards that can actually help you soul charge. Of course, this card does have the World Order effect that is almost the same as the other World Order. Auto Order Zone. When your Shadow Army token is placed, that placed unit gets 5k power until the end of turn. Now, this, of course, does increases your soul usage as mentioned before. But then at the price of that heavy of a cost, each and every time your Shadow Army token is placed during that turn, those army token will get 5k, which means that those Shadow Army token is 20k at the minimum, of course. The powering up skill of this card does stack, so meaning that if you have 2 of this World Order in your order zone, your Shadow Army token is able to plus 10k, which means that they will be at 25k. It's a really insane card to support the Shadow Army token. Also, I do recommend running some Soul Charge card because at this moment you do see a lot of Soul Blast, so it's somewhat concerning at this point. Next, of course, is the triple R, Cardinal, Draco, Destierde. I can't pronounce the name, I'm sorry. He has 2 skill, Continuous Reyogia Circle. If your world is Dark Knight, this unit gets 2k power. If it is the Abyssal Dark Knight instead, this unit gets 5k power. Active on your opponent's turn too, so he is a 15k base on both your turn as well as your opponent's turn. Auto Reyogia Circle. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks, retire 3 Shadow Army token and stand this unit. Finally, Orphist gets a 4th attack skill. Orphist has been attacking for 3 times since the last 2 boosters, so with DBT03, you're able to attack the 4th time. Since he does requires you to retire 3 Shadow Army token, he does feels a little bit xenophobic with other support cards for Orphist. For example, the Great One that helps you countercharge, Tamburino, as well as Elvidred. All these 3 cards requires you to retire 1 Shadow Army token in order to activate their own skill. So you're gonna have a hard time deciding on which card to use, because once you use any of those 3 cards, this means that you will not be able to use the Destierde. So if you want to use Destierde, most likely your board will kind of look like this, with of course with Destierde in the left and Orphist in the center, as well as 3 Shadow Army token. Now, what are you going to call on the right column? Because like I said mentioned before, the 3 units does not really goes well with Destierde because he does requires you to sacrifice 1 of your Shadow Army token, and Destierde needed all 3 of your Shadow Army token. Most likely, the new grade 3 that countercharge is going to be on the right side, because you do need countercharge and you simply do not have space to put your units already. So most likely he's going to be there, and assuming that you actually played the World Order card this turn and you did summon out the 3 Shadow Army token by using Orphist skill, this is how your power will looks like. Of course, since you do have the World Order card, all 3 of your Shadow Army token will be at 20k. The front row does seems higher here is because I forgot to mention that you persona ride this turn, so that's pretty much on me. You're still going to attack with the Vanguard first because your rear guards are much higher, and most likely you want to attack with Destierde last because he retired all 3. You might as well get the boost first before you go to Destierde, because he will most likely be your last 3rd and 4th attack. So of course you will be attacking with everything, starting with Orphist and then the new grade 3, and then lastly Destierde, which will be at 48k, 43k, and 45k. Now at this moment, of course, you will want to activate Destierde's skill. Now of course, any triggers can be pumped to Destierde because he restand twice, and if you do get over trigger or the critical, Destierde is going to be really scary in this moment. So of course, at the end of the battle that Destierde attack, you're gonna have to sacrifice all 3 of your Shadow Army token to restand him and then attack again. But Destierde will be attacking for lesser power because you do sacrifice your Shadow Army tokens already, so there's no booster. So one of your attacks is gonna be slightly lower than the other. At the moment, not really the best combo, but then it's still a combo for Orphist. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section on what do you think about the DBT03 support for Orphist. At the moment, not too bad and not too great at the same time. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and also do remember to ring the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.